and welcome to another episode of On the PL. I'm Alex.
And I'm Carolina.
And today we have a special guest, someone that's going to make our asses fall off with how much we're going to be laughing today. Fresh off his comedy special. Damn, that's crazy. Frankie Quiñones!
Times when I'm depressed, I'll go to brunch just to hear that healthy white woman laugh, man. Bills are paid.
But I think the most important question is, do you ever get asked if you're related to John Quiñones from...
Oh my God. That's crazy you brought that up. Yeah. All the time. You know?
Really?
Yeah. And it was funny, like when, back when my YouTube videos went viral, which is like the first thing that happened for me back in like 2017. It's like Cholo fit went viral and all that. Like somebody spread a rumor online that John Quiñones was my dad, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's how you got into the business." No. And he has a connection through his dad, and his dad's John Quiñones. I was like,
have you ever even met the man?
No, I haven't met him yet.
Well, what would you do if you met him? No,
I don't know. I would ask him if he want to shoot a sketch where he actually plays my dad.
That'd be funny. No nepotism here.
Yeah.
None. Get the claims out of here. Where does your funny come from? Like, did you envision yourself having this trajectory in your life? Like, this is what you want it to be?
I mean, I don't know. My mom and dad always had stand-up on in the house, and we always watched comedy, like SNL and In Living Color. And then there was a show called Culture Clash back in the day that was like Our People. That was a sketch show. And then, I don't know, I was always class clown and always messing around. And I found a sprinkler head on my dad's work truck, and I would pretend it was a microphone and do little performances for him. So it was always in there. I was like, I know that's what I want to do. And then it wasn't until I was like 25, though, I finally hit my first open mic.
Wow, 25.
Like, yeah. And then, and I was just, I had to take like 4 shots of tequila and be, all right, let's go, and I was just doing like diarrhea and sex jokes, but
as we all start off, right?
The low-hanging fruit, but I got some laughs, so I was like, all right, I'm on my way, but yeah, then 10 years later, I was sleeping on my homie's couch, but, it's been a fun journey.
It's part of the passage. The couch, homie's couch, friends, family's couch. What's the difference between a cholo and a fool?
Yeah, I mean, a cholo's like, obviously the stilo of it, like the style, the dress, all that. And then a fool, I guess, would be, I don't know. I think more people could be a fool. People are like, dang, you're a fool, or da-da-da. Whether it's through your actions or, I consider Edgars are fools too, but they're not. Their style isn't cholo, they're Edgars, but they're still fools. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, someone had once told us that the difference between a cholo and a foo is how high their socks go. I didn't know that. I'll be checking people's socks for nowadays.
Yeah, it's a thing, man. Ever since that movement started, like I had a kind of a ceremonial thing where I put all my ankle socks in a barrel and I burned them, because I was getting sock checked too much, in
Legit?
public. And then I was like, you know what? I can't live this life no more. I can't have my ankles out. Yeah. So
now they're cold. The ankles are cold.
Serious? Oh.
Are you okay?
But yeah, no, I don't wear ankle socks anymore. Like even when I work out and run, I just can't do it anymore. Yeah. Just because of that movement,
Okay, we were just listening to your special.
Did you have to build up being able to be vulnerable like that? Because you did talk about some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And so your comedy right away did it take you a long time to be able to be like, no, I can talk about this. I'm fine with it, or
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think in the beginning it was like, well, one of my favorite things about seeing a new comic I've never seen before is like, if I see them in like the first, minute of their set, I know who they are, and then I'm like, all right, like take me where you want to take me. But I definitely had to work up to that, especially the things that I got so really vulnerable about, because I had just opened up about those things in my real life, So it's just like I was always taught to suppress and hey, just fucking, like da-da-da, don't show your emotions like that, and so just opening up about it personally helped me just bring it to the stage, which is like. To me, it was like, okay, taking it to the next level and being able to be comfortable in my own skin, talking about that stuff, you know what I mean? So I definitely had to, work towards it. But, when I first started talking about it on stage, I was even uncomfortable because you're uncomfortable even just, whatever, in therapy or something, or talking about something, so the crowd gets nervous with you, and then it's not good, but you have to go through that to get to the point where you're like, all right, homie, this is it, and I'm gonna make it funny, even though this is crazy what I'm talking about. So it's like,
and I was like, I can't believe He's talking about this. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's fun. Like, it's not like a weird. It's funny, and I think because I've gone to so many stand-up shows before. Flappers, shout out Flappers Comedy Club, and like sometimes there's people that you're like, oh, I know it's supposed to be funny, but I'm very uncomfortable, and I know you're being vulnerable, but I'm very uncomfortable, and I feel like I never felt that way watching. Damn, that's crazy. So.
Oh, right on. Yeah, it's a line you gotta tread, but yeah. Thank you for saying that, because that was the goal. Like,
Who were some of like I know you said you had stand up like in your house a lot. Like who were the people that who influenced your comedy the most?
Oh man, just like I don't know, like back in with my dad, we would always watch Three Stooges and like Creeper. My character Creeper there's a lot of Three Stooges influence, just with this physical comedy and stuff like that, and. But then, Cantinflas was pretty big. I used to watch that with my grandpa all the time. Chavo de Ocho and all that. And then, but then my mom and dad got really into stand-up. And it was like everybody, like Eddie Murphy was the first one I saw. Absolutely. Where I was like, this fool's wearing this leather suit. It's only him and a mic and a theater full of people, and you're just lighting it on fire. And I was just like fascinated with it. I was like, dang, I want to do that. That's crazy. He was like a rock star. And then like Paul Rodriguez was the first dude I saw like look like me. Like he was doing his HBO specials were so good back in the day. And then even George Carlin. Obviously. Then I would dig back and I started watching like Richard Pryor and stuff like that. But yeah, those were the main dudes that I was like, oh wow.
I love hearing when people reference like their family, and like it's like some of what my essence of my work comes from that. And I like how you're mentioning your parents. I don't know how to ask this question. Are your parents still with us?
Yeah.
Okay. Are your parents still in the room?
What did you say yesterday? Do they live?
Do they live?
He was asking about hanging out last night, and you were talking about two people, and instead of saying like where do they live, he goes, do they live? And we're like, what is? Yes, they're still alive.
Because I've had interviews where I ask people like, oh, your parents, and they're like, they're gone, and I'm like, oh shit, like.
He got serious. Are they still with
us? But my question is, what do they say about your comedy, and like, are they going and watching you perform and be like, hey, like, damn, that's crazy. Yeah. You were out there, man.
No, they're supportive, and I'm grateful for that. They're like, some of the stuff I'd open up about it, we're like, oh, but then they're like, oh, okay, like we get it. But they're not everybody has that type of support. So there was periods where obviously they're worried about me because I was broke and sleeping on my homie's couch. But once I started doing good and all that, they were always real supportive. But yeah, they're still around. They're in Vegas right now, actually partying. So they're still young, doing it. Yeah. Still married. Yeah.
That's a hard one nowadays.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Especially from our people.
Yeah.
No, they're like, I'm like, if they're married to the church, they can't get away.
I know.
No, but you also talked about your dating life.
Oh yeah.
Do you date a lot outside of your culture or no?
I mean, I'm open to whatever, but like, not whatever.
and what's the situation right now? Are you dating still? Are you married?
Yeah, I recently started dating again, and it sucks,
crazy.
man. Yeah, it's crazy.
You see, what your publicist didn't say is that we're actually gonna make a dating profile for you.
No.
Would you consider yourself a No Sabo Kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I speak Spanish, but like it's not good.
Como dice Cardi B, ratata.
Yeah. No, but like when I speak Spanish, like on whatever, in public formats, like, people go in on me. I like it though, because it makes me want to brush up on it. But yeah, I'm working on it. I take like classes, and I'm trying to.
Some Duolingo.
Yeah, I'm just like it does bother me, But also like I don't. When people get mad at me for, I'm like, or you're not better than me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Spanish is not even your native language. You're conquered by the Spanish.
That's what we talk about all the time. It's like it's not even like. It's a colonized language, so it's like, who cares?
Yeah, like, bitch, you really think you were speaking the colonized language? Talk to me in Nahua. How Mexican are you?
My household was like a very Spanglish household, Okay. My dad was like a lowrider car club guy, My mom's a mix, she's Native American and Mexican, so it was like, yeah, they switched like mid-sentence, you know, that kind of household. But now I'm like, oh man. But even my grandpa, like, we were in a generation where it was like, hey, we got to get a job, like, speak English, you know, and it was just like.
And I feel like a lot of people overlook that too when they like try to shame other people for not speaking Spanish. It's like, well, there's a generation of people that felt that like if they continued speaking that language, that they would not be able to get jobs or they would get like profiled and stuff like that. Like all of that stuff just gets erased because of who knows what.
And now it's different. Now it's like, you don't speak, you know, now it's like there's more job opportunities to speak both, you know. But I've had fools talk shit to me like, oh man, you're in No Sabo, you don't speak Spanish. I'm like, you don't even have a job, homie. Like it's like
I speak employment.
You say you didn't start doing stand-up until you were 25. So like, what were you doing before, and what was the moment that you were like, oh wait, I kind of want to try this?
Yeah, you know, it was always in the back of my head. Like I did some stuff like growing up, like little improv shows and stuff like that. But then I was always playing sports, and then, you know, I went to school, and then I was working at a hardware store, and then I was doing like shipping and receiving at a warehouse. And then during that time, finally, a homie of mine was like, hey man, there was this place called the Brainwash Cafe, and it was like the longest running open mic in San Francisco at the time. And then my homie was like, hey man, they do this open mic, a comedy open mic on Thursdays. And so I worked up the courage one day, raced up there after work. And then, you know, you sign up, and then I'm like at the bottom of the list. There's only like 6 people left in the audience, and I got up there and did my little, 5 minutes. And I got some laughs though, so I was like, and then I got hooked, you know. Well, then I was just going once a week for a while, and then finally, I started going more often. Then I got booked on my first like restaurant bar gig for like, you know, $50 and 2 free drinks. I was like, shit, we're on our way, homie.
Drink tickets. The more drink tickets, the better you are. There's a part where you talk about like discipline and being a kid. Yeah. Like, my mom was from El Salvador. I don't know. She had me out there with rice, kneeling down with books on myself, how to kneel down and be like this. She's like, "Te portas bien." And it could have been like the craziest little thing, but I was like, "Oh, you're from a war-torn country. Like, relax. We're in America, you know." Which now is, I think that's child abuse. Yeah. So don't report my mom. I'm 32. We're good. We ended up okay. but like, what was that for you? Like, what was discipline?
That's what's funny. Is like the first time I went to therapy, it was like somebody's like, "You need therapy." I was like, "Oh, I do." And then, you know, you talk about that, and they're like, "That's child abuse." You know, you can report that. And I was like, "Oh, what?" Like,
it's still, can I do that now?
I don't know. That was the tools that my mom and dad were equipped with, you know.
Yeah.
And especially my mom. My dad was more chill. He would, you know, I would get my whoopings for sure. He would whip me with a belt, you know, and like bare ass, stomach down, and then, you know, you get welts on me that bleed. It. But he would always sit with me after, "Hey, mijo, you know I did that, right?" You know, and I'm, you know, "All right, I love you, right? Don't do that again." Like, "All right, Dad," you know. And then, but my mom was very reactive, like in the moment, just throwing objects. And she has like she's from the projects, homie. So she's like oldest of all her siblings, like a lot of weight on her shoulders. Yeah, she has a lot.
Sorry
of
to your mom, but
sorry. I don't want to put all her business out there, but she went through a lot, homie. So for that, you know, I got a lot of respect for her. But yeah, you know, that's what she knew. You know, she's reactive, and she would hit us, or she hit me. She would hit me, homie. I got smacked in the face, all that shit, you know. So it's like, you know, it still hurts.
We're still healing.
But you're like, but as you get older, you're like, oh man, well, they were doing the best they could, and they were present. It's just like a lot of us got our ass whooped. So, you know, I just, even though, it causes, you know, it's, you know, some shit, it could have been, you know, worse, or she could have been like, hey, just go do whatever, you know.
I used to get disciplined very frequently because I would just do crazy shit. Like, I'd be like, quarters, VHS. Let me just put quarters in that shit. And just, and then my mom is like, I just spent, you know, so much money on this. Like, why would
you want to put quarters in the VHS?
I would grab, like, pearls or, like, her pearls. And then she's clutching them now. But, like, I would be like, I feel like the Grinch.
Oh, so you were a travieso.
Yes, I was a travieso. So she was like, blah, 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 right? Which I think by the age of 6, I was like, Mom, you don't hit me as much anymore. And she corrected me, you know, like, and I was scared. Like, anything I could ever do to oh my God, Mom's going to hit me. No.
I wasn't really, I mean, I was also like such a, I don't want to say a loser child, but I really didn't do anything. Like,
do anything bad?
I never really did.
You're like the princesa, like, no.
Yeah. Oh, also oldest, so I felt like I was like third parent to my younger siblings.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, like I have to keep these people in check, so I have to be.
Oh, like
I'm
the
adult.
example.
I'm also the first grandkid on my mom's side, so I would always hang around with adults all the time.
Oh, okay.
So. Yeah, I'm annoying. Yeah. You talked about going to therapy, and I feel like a lot of Latino men need to go to therapy. Hi, Dad.
Yeah.
How does that like? Do you have any advice for like? Do you have like? Look at this camera, and how do you feel like therapy has changed you? And I just think more men need to. Accept it, and that it's not emasculating, because I think that's a lot of issue for guys is like, I don't want to have to talk about my feelings, like
that's weak.
That's
you
weak.
Talk about your feelings like that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, I think it is a hard hump to get over, and to just kind of like, open yourself up to it, because I get it. It's like, well, I mean, like, a lot of us grew up like that wasn't even an option. Like, therapy wasn't even on the table, but it was hard for me to go. My sister was the first one. She's the one that kind of created those waves in our family, and we're like, what, she's going to therapy? It was kind of like, and so I don't know, I never saw myself doing that, or my mom or dad or anybody. And then finally I went, and I was like, oh, okay. And then you start, not only you're getting the therapy, but you get educated on what it could do for you, and stuff like, and not only you, but the people around you. Mm-hmm. And then so I think and then I'm like, oh, it's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength, that you're willing to do that work on yourself and show up for your family in ways that you could have never imagined, homie, because you think it's just, I just work and provide and da-da-da. And like, yeah, obviously that's a good thing too, but, the things that you could do for your kids and your family, spiritually, emotionally, like, prayer, meditation I'm big on. And then mix that with therapy and kind of understanding the things, how your mind works, and where your spirit. Because a lot of people are like spiritually bankrupt. We're in the rat race here, and we're chasing these things that don't really mean nothing. We live under this illusion where, oh man, if I was rich, or if I got this house or got this car, I would feel a certain way, and I could escape these other feelings. But it's really, that's not it, homie. It's doing the self work and the things like that. And it is a lot of work, but in the end result, it's like, these like all these things, you're like dreams that you never thought you had will come true, and you're like, oh man. And just like the happiness, and the love that you could spread. For me, it was like I had a lot of self-hate, because the way I felt about myself, the shit I went through as a kid, and then I was just taught to suppress it. But it was like eating me alive, or just, it's like eating. It sounds like dramatic. It was eating me alive, but it's true. And as you get older, and then for me, as I started having these successes, and then I realized, that these weren't the things that were gonna make me happy. You know what I mean? Like, I did all that. I was grateful to get off my homie's couch. I ended up buying a home, and all these things I thought were like, oh, I'm gonna, but and then I was like miserable, and I was like, I didn't want to. You don't want to complain to people, because people are like, hey, congratulations. And I'm like, hey, like, I'm dying. But yeah, it was true. So now, man, I'm so proud of, like, I got a few of my primos that now go that I never would have imagined, and the most machismo, like whatever, like, nah, and now they're going, and so I don't know, it's kind of cool to see. So it's like I said, I think once those, especially Latino men, when they get to a point where like, oh, it's a sign of strength, like get that in your head, like it's showing, it's actually a sign of strength. Then you never know what could happen, homie. So I just think it's important to, you don't want to die like that just to look tough, homie. Just hold that, no, just hold it in, cause it's like, come on, let me get it out, So
I feel like the machista ones are the ones that probably need the most therapy.
Yeah.
Like the toughest guys are the ones that probably should go get some help.
But I was like self-medicating. I was drinking, doing drugs, like to try to numb stuff out. And it was like the amount of time and effort I put into that was like, if I just do an hour, couple hours a day of just like whatever, meditating, therapy, whatever, something, it's like brushing your teeth. You don't just brush your teeth and then you're done. You got to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of like, yeah. So it changed my life. It's still new for me, but I've been sticking with it, and it's like, changed my life and my family's and everything. My career's gotten better. Everything got better just from opening up about stuff that I was taught to suppress. You know, it's crazy. I mean.
Before we end and wrap about This Fool.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because I watched season 1, but we want to talk about the curse of a 2-season
Latino
show that also just doesn't get. But before we get there, tell us about your experience. You were hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, that show was it was a dream come true, you know, because not only did I get to, you know, act in it and all that, but it was just like we got to represent, you know, where we came from and all that, and the authenticity was number one out the gate with Chris, you know. So Chris Estrada, shout out to the homie, a good friend of mine, one of my best friends. We were touring together, you know. He was my opener, and then they started working on that show, and then it was like 4 years in the making before it finally was like started becoming a thing. But yeah, the authenticity was like number one through and through, because a lot of times you'll see our stuff on TV and something will be a little bit off, or like even if it's like the wardrobe or the dialogue, like, you know, and then not, you know, hearing the same recycled stories over and over again, which is all the stories are important, but we're just like, we just wanted to be funny and show like a very blue collar thing. And then, you know, and then Chris being from South Central, it's like there's a lot of brown and black communities, you know, and then usually it's like shows don't show that, you know, it's either one or the other. And so I think the show did a good job of, you know, showing those two cultures coexist and stuff like that, because that's how those neighborhoods look. And then, you know, I don't know, it was just like, we just wanted to be funny, make it funny, and then just organically there was like the messages and all that stuff laying in the layers of it. But yeah, it was I don't know, man, that show was a dream come true to see it get, you know, such good reviews, even from like the East Coast outlets and all that. Like, you know, it got such high praise, you know, but also, you know, they didn't continue it. It got canceled. And it was like so heartbreaking, you know, because it was like, damn, we were already kind of loosely working on the third season. Yeah. And it was just like, but we did it, and it's still there, and it's 2 seasons. Like, I still push it, and I'm like, if you haven't seen it, please watch it. You know, it's This Fool on Hulu. And, you know, to be able to work with a guy like Michael Imperioli, too, who's like, you know, legendary actor, Sopranos and all that. And he was so hip with the, you know, Chicano movement and stuff like that, or you know, just he was so like he knew exactly what was up with the culture and stuff like that, and loved Latino culture in general. And it was kind of just cool to see. I'm like, oh, you know what's up, like we're out there. I mean, you know, like people get us and stuff like that. But yeah, it was I don't know, that was such a, even my mom was like, you guys did it, mijo. You did it. She's like, mijo, even if you weren't in that show, I would still love it. It's just so good. She's like, finally somebody did it, you know? Because, you know, she grew up out here and stuff like that. And so, I don't know. It just I feel like we did a good job. And it's one of the things I'm most proud of, that show. And so me and Chris are still working together on other things. So hopefully we can continue that, because I feel like we weren't done yet.
No, you guys weren't. And like when shows like that get canceled, are you told with the general public, or are you told before the news breaks?
Yeah, we were told by Hulu that day, and it was, you know, shout out to Hulu. They were pushing for a third season, but you know, they're the powers that be just kind of it was like, you know, a lot. There was the strike didn't help us, and there was just like the pandemic, and then the strike were like they were still recovering from that. They said, even though they're bidding billions of dollars now for Warner Brothers. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Leave Britney alone. Leave Warner Brothers alone.
But yeah. So there was like, we weren't the only ones. It was just like a lot of budget cuts, but we were just like, oh man, people love this show though, you know. So
it sucks that with budget cuts, it's always the black and brown people that are affected.
I know, and you know, and especially Latinos, we get like, you know, our one show every time. Like, okay, we have our one brown show, and that's it. Yeah. You know, we're kind of, you know, everybody else. I feel like Latinos and Asians were the ones that get like the one show, and then you know. But shout out to everybody getting opportunities and stuff like that. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, you know, even Benicio del Toro, he was quoted as saying like, I never saw a Latino movement. Like everybody else has kind of had this movement, He's like, and we're still kind of just, they're trying to figure us out still.
And that's why I also feel like even when like Beef came out, with Ali, that was like such an amazing show. I was like, okay, like let's keep it in there, guys. Let's keep it in there. Don't do this to us. Don't do this to us. Anticipation. No, but we've reached the end of our segment. Thank you so much for just opening up and being like funny with us. And just cracking jokes. I feel like I've had so much to laugh today. Like, man, week is gonna start off
so much to laugh.
So much to laugh today.
So much living today. I'm No Sabo, whatever No Sabo in English is, that's what I am too. Because no se sabe ni de qué digo. But no, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. And let us know what to look forward to with you and what's coming out.
Oh, yeah. Well, please watch Damn That's Crazy. It's on Hulu. And obviously, if you haven't seen This Fool, please check it out. I'm on St. Dennis Medical.
Hey.
And then this coming year, I'm in a movie called El Tigre with my homies Tom Segura and Luke Wilson. And Genesis Rodriguez, who's incredible. And Tim Baltz. Please check it out. It's a rated R hard comedy. And I play a coked out cartel leader, so check it out.
See you guys on the next
one. Bye.